All right, Thoroughbreds, welcome back to this week's episode of Penalty Broncos. We are the number one Broncos podcast that we listen to. I'm coming to you from the Bandwagon Bar, and we've got Langers and Ringer joining us from online across this glorious state that is Queensland. Langers, mate, how's your week been?
Yeah, good, mate. It's good to be back in the swing of things, just with the normal sort of scheduled work, no recovery efforts for a week or so, but that may change with how inland Queensland's going. We'll find out tomorrow when we go back to work. But no, it's been good, mate. I was in Collinsville this week, so the glorious town that you always seem to return back to. But no, it's good, mate. It's good. How about you?
Mate, I am glad to see the back end of this wet season. It's been a lot. I think we've tipped to nearly in the wet season, we've done nearly 3 years of annual rainfall. I think we're up to double it now just this year.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, I did the lawns today. The back one has been about maybe 4 weeks since I last did it. Only did the front 2 weeks ago because of the rain and whatnot. And so that was a mission, but give it 3 weeks and I'll be cursing that I actually got to water the bloody thing to keep it alive. So
Yeah.
swings and roundabouts on that bad boy. What about you, Ringer, mate? How'd you go?
Yeah, mate, we were out of the worst of the flooding. Don't know if everyone's aware, but there's some serious fucking terrible things happening to people down in the inside southwest Queensland. Um, you know, 2 or 3 years rain in 48 hours in some places. Absolutely just, yeah. So there's going through houses that have never seen water in them. And that's like all that country is old country, as you know. Like they didn't put homesteads there just for the fucking sake of it. Like,
Yeah.
they've been on high and dry ground for a lot of years. So yeah, a lot of people going to be doing it hard over the next little bit, mate. But even us, like we didn't have anything bad, but we had 200 mil during the week. So just to put that into context, our annual rainfall is 275.
Mm.
So we've had
Yep.
that in a week, and there's some places down further that have had that in 48 hours. So yeah, so there's going to be a lot of people. So keep them in your thoughts, thoroughbreds, and no doubt you'll probably see it over the next week or so when the cleanup happens. But no, mate, look, to be fair, we've really had beautiful rain. Like can't argue at all. There's a hell of a lot of fences down, but we haven't had stock losses or houses or infrastructure go bad. So we're very lucky, mate. But yeah, pretty happy at this end. But yeah, there are some people going through hardship, so just keep them in your thoughts, thoroughbreds.
Yeah, good stuff. It gets a bit like that with the old flood fencing.
Oh.
You love to do it. You love the result while you're doing it, but fuck me, it's a kind of a job.
Doing it. There's centipedes and fucking snakes and shit coming out of it. Like, oh, fuck this.
All right. We'll get right into it, doing our previous game result here. On Friday night, the Dolphins were polite enough to host us at Suncorp Stadium. We did the right thing, of course. We moved from the home sheds to the away sheds. I hope they left the hot water running for the boys over there,
You're right, looked after
us. But big shout out to the Thoroughbreds straight off the bat for once again making at our home, essentially. It was one of the largest attended games for the season, again, right up there. Everyone else complains that we always get the prime time. And I mean, mate, just show the numbers. Like, that's the reason why we get it. Build it and they'll come. We've got the stadium and we fill it. So for context, though, yeah, it was horrendous looking weather. For context, there have been 2 regular season games played at Suncorp this year, and we sit at the top of the total attendance table. Combank has had 5 games. They have a max capacity of 30,000. And we've still got them beat by 6,929. So, our total's at 89,596, just over 2 games. So, good shit there. Dolphins will try and claim that one. But anyway, we'll get through with the results. First half was 6-16 our way, with the second half 6-4 the Dolphins' way for a full-time result of 12-20 with a Broncos win. Going through the stats though, gentlemen, we didn't win a lot.
No.
And it's sort of, I guess we got, outscored in the second half there, but we didn't win the possession. Dolphins had 53% of that. Completion rate, we got that, 89%. However, the Dolphins got 37 sets completed, and that's the amount of sets that we attempted. So, they got a lot more ball, hence the possession and whatnot, but they had a lot more chances. We got the average set meters was 40.84 meters to the Dolphins 39.05. Tackle efficiency, they rolled us there 87.74%. Penalties conceded as well. We ended up giving away 5 there and to the Dolphins 2, and the errors. So we won that one. They had 9 errors to our 6, and whatnot. But anyway, that's that. That's the introduction. Langers, mate, I'll hand it over to yourself for a review.
Thank you, mate. Rightio, thoroughbreds, let's strap in. We got a little bit to get through. So, Broncos versus Dolphins, Battle of Brisbane, as it has now been come to know. You'd say probably the first 10 minutes, Dolphins were aggressive. And that's probably the second week in a row that a sort of bottom-dwelling team has really put the Broncos to the sword for the first sort of period of the game with the Cowboys last week. But once again, it was just good to see that the Broncos defense, they stepped up once again and prevented any sort of points from, coming the opposition's way. Then in the 11th minute, we had basically our first attacking opportunity, and it leads to a try for Gemmitt Shibasaki. So that was obviously always good to see it, the first, attacking opportunity. That sort of try came about after a great sort of short ball from Benny Hunt to Jack Gushevsky. I've heard about 3 different pronunciations of that name,
you get
mate.
3 per game.
Just run with the one that Blocker does.
Yeah.
Blocker could just say Jack from now on.
Yeah, we'll just call him Jack, shall we? That kick was not converted, which is a bit of an unusual one for Mr. Reynolds. So that was the score was 4-0 after the 11th minute. Then 3 minutes later, in the 14th minute, had a bit of crafty work from Cory Paix, catching the markers sort of napping and just sliding in for the Broncos' second try. And that try was sort of just great sort of build-up play from, once again, Payne Haas just steamrolling the opposition. We've said it before, we'll say it again. Glad he is a Bronco. That kick was converted, so 10-0. Then in the 19th minute, we had a try to the Dolphins in Max Plath after a high shot penalty on Herbie Farnsworth from Adam Reynolds. We won't talk about that one too much. Kick converted, 10-6. 26th minute, we had a great 40-20 defusal from Cobbo, an awesome effort from our boy Reese to get out of the in goal. Now, I know what you're going to say. Cobbo stepped out when he touched the ball, but hey, if you can keep a secret, I can. So on that one as well.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 29th minute, we had a lovely bust from Jordan Ricky to create the opportunity for none other than Katoni Staggs to just dive through what seemed like about 3 defenders for the Broncos' third try. So that was obviously good to see Katoni get on the scoreboard first game back from injury. So that would have done him, wonders. But obviously he's just a phenomenal player. So just another day for Mr. Staggs. Kick converted, 16-6. And then from that 29th minute to about half time, she was just that, derby-worthy grind, just backwards and forwards, a couple of missed opportunities, that sort of stuff. And then it was sort of half time. So we sort of touched on it at the start, but wet as fuck is probably the word that you can sort of throw around. Holy shit. Like the commentators and the cameramen, people, were trying to sort of show the viewers at home just how wet it actually was and just how hard the rain was coming down. And it was just absolutely pissing down. But One little thing that I've written down here that I think a lot of thoroughbreds will be happy with: Reece Walsh, 0 errors for the first half.
Yep.
That's obviously always good to see. He's obviously been working on that during the week. So, yeah, lovely to see. And just a good effort all round, really. Like, I don't think too many Broncos were sort of, needed to pick their game up or anything like that. They're all doing their jobs, which was really, really good. Then in the second half, sort of just 15 minutes of just more grind, like it was a very sort of grindy sort of game, obviously in the conditions that they were playing in. Obviously, you sort of come to expect that. And then in the 51st minute, we had our second try of the night for Gamet Shibasaki after an error-producing tackle from Billy Walters. So, like I say, I'll give credit where credit is due. That tackle from Billy was great. Just under the ball tackle from him, busted it out, got the ball back. So that was lovely. Kick, once again, not converted from Adam Reynolds. You can forgive him. It was absolutely pissing down, so you can forgive him for it. 20-6. And then more derby grind. Like it was good to see, it was nice that, we had sort of created that bit of a lead. So you were sort of happy to watch that sort of grinding sort of footy between two Queensland teams. So happy with that. That was sort of for the next 20 minutes. But in that 20 minutes, in the 70th minute, we had Paddy Garrigan absolutely smoke Tom Gilbert, which was lovely to see.
Oh, poleaxing of note.
Oh, absolutely. And then 4 minutes later, Brendan Piakura nearly got a murder charge put on him for that hit on Herbie Farnsworth. Jesus. Nearly killed that boy.
Yeah, that was so good.
Absolutely, yeah. 2 just big hits in sort of quick succession. So that was lovely to see. Then in the 75th minute, we had a near-on sort of full-length try for Jake Avarillo, just a bit of tired Broncos defence. That kick was converted 20-12, and that is the second week in a row that a 95-metre dash has ruined a Broncos 13+.
13+.
Luckily, I wasn't on it this week, but if I was, holy, I'd probably up for a new TV, I reckon. And that was sort of it for the game, just sort of more sort of grind for that last couple of minutes, and then that was it. So just sort of overall sort of mentions here. We got great defensive effort from the boys. We'll touch on that a little bit later, I'm sure, but just the amount of tackles that they had to do on their line, in their 10, in their 5, it was really, really good to see the end score. Minimal errors considering how wet it was. Like there was 9 and 6, so you got 15, but for how wet it was and how slippery that ball would have been and how much everybody was slipping over and whatnot, I was expecting a lot more than 6 from us. That's for sure. And yeah, Reece Walsh, he only had the 1, and that was sort of, you could forgive that. That was, I was happy with that area that he did. Threw it over. Arthur's wasn't there. And then yeah, apart from that, bring on the fucking Tigers, mate.
100%. Massive shout out to them because the defense in that weather, and they did try to do a good job at showing us how had the angle of the player, and it's just like, nearly limited visibility sort of thing.
Yep.
But some of the tackles that we were doing and the sticking, like the contact was good. They were winning that contact, pushing them back, even the one-on-ones. Like normally if you go in, you're full stretched out, it's a bit slippery, you slide off down to the ankles. They were still hitting around the waist, sticking around the waist, taking them to the ground sort of thing. So I think the missed tackle count ended up being 46 to the Dolphins, 42 to us. And honestly, in conditions like that, like it should be a lot higher from there. So yeah, massive effort from the lads there. Even throwing some of the ball that they were throwing, the fact that they could keep hold of them, great talent. That was great, mate. Good shit. Bloody Paddy Carrigan. Gee, I see there's a couple of comments about it being a high tackle and whatnot. Just appreciate pure art when you see it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Ringer, mate? How do you see the game?
Yeah, mate. Love Langer's work there. That was a really great breakdown because it was, I think, a really good grindy game that we needed. Like a wet game is probably what we needed in our point in the season. So, like we did put ourselves in the position to be scored on first by the Dolphins by, letting them down our end. We weren't winning the field position battle. But we did weather the storm, and I think we had to. like for ourselves, I think we had to really weather that storm early, and it gave me really good confidence that when we held them out, like as soon as once we held them out and we got up the other end and scored, I had zero anxiety left about losing this game because um, being a Broncos fan over the last couple of years when we haven't been going so well, we have squandered those chances so many times where we let teams absolutely dominate us that shouldn't be dominating us, and if they put 6 on us, they generally put 10 on us, and then we've got to be scrambling to make it up. Where our defense on our line seems to be really good at the moment, even though the Dolphins didn't throw much at us in that sort of wet weather footy. It's still hard to pick and stick and sort of stick to your man in those sort of situations. So I was very impressed with that. And I think it's really important for the rest of our season that we didn't let them go over, because it builds confidence in what we can do if we have to grind. I'm a little bit worried that we've let the Cows and the Dolphins do that to us early in the game. Both games for the first 10 minutes have been dominated by the opposition. So maybe, trying to get off to a better start might be in the plan for later. But, maybe Madge is not worried about that too much, where he's like trying to build that resolve in the players to be like, if this happens, this is how you have to react. And we might as well do it early in the game when we're fresh than to do it later. So I was really impressed with that. Points didn't come like we wanted it, but I mean, in the second half there, it was wetter than a private screening of 50 Shades of Grey for an all-female audience. Like it was torrential. Like it was awful. So I think that really helped to simplify our game, though. Like it made us just run hard. We short passes, like we really condensed our attacking options, where even the first try with Gamma, short ball jack, short offload to Gamma, like we weren't using the whole field, we were just sort of hitting and using our power and just offload short, so there was no risk of those slippery balls being just behind you and you lose it sort of thing. So I think that was really impressive and it would have been from the halves, I dare say, that old experienced sort of halves that would have bought that game plan in. Is like compress. We'll get them. Like we know we've got the cattle to get them compressed, and we'll get ourselves one-on-one with some running, and we'll crash through. And I think that was evident with even, like Langer said, with Payne Haas, skilled a few defenders, gets up, gets a quick play of the ball. Patesy just looks one way. Finifuaki says, "Oh, well, I'm too fucked to do that," and then he just like runs clean over the line. So, really good dummy half work, but it just shows that we were playing to a game plan, and the wet weather really simplified it for us. And I think we can play the exact same footy in dry weather, and we'll beat teams just with the cattle we got and how we can really strip teams. Yeah, we'll get to the players later, but I think the errors count and the completion rate, like we've been saying. It's funny how all of a sudden, when it gets to the worst weather we've seen that we've played in this year, we've decided to complete at 89%. We get a result. So, I hope that sinks into the boys. But yeah, mate, we'll get into the players later. But I was really impressed with how we defended. Like even the Mac Plath try, that was a bloody good try. That was a hard running forward with great support play and a good offload. Like, you're going to wear them during the year, aren't you? Like, it's not as if they stripped us wide or there was like bad defense on either side. It was just really good middle wet weather footy play, like a play. So I'll wear that, mate. And yeah, Reese's one error, chef's kiss, mate. That's all we want him to do. And he still had the magic to get Gammett over for his second try. So, that's all we want. So we'll move on. We'll get to the players later. But yeah, mate, I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, 100%. I like what you said about the early try, because even in that 2023 season, we were always seemed to be conceding first points. Like we'd go out, and maybe that's why teams hit us hard in the very start, because that's the blueprint. The Raiders did it as well. If you go hard at the Broncos, you got to score early. Otherwise, if you let them, go easy on them, we can show what we did. First time we got down there, we scored. So yeah, maybe we just put our own target on our back with that sort of stuff. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, we'll get to men of the matches now before we move on to the main players. So, for me, for the penalty Broncos man of the match, it went to Jordan Ricky. So I believe Jack, you also put him forward as well, straight after, just face value, straight after the game, put his name up, sort of thing, along with Shiba. It was a tough choice. Renault had it on a string. The entire game, sort of thing. Little General was doing with it. Reese was so improved, sort of thing. Carrigan had 100% tackling efficiency, and Haas was just doing Haas things, as he always does. But I feel like this game for Ricky was his best game, I would say, in 2 years, potentially. Well, definitely better than last year. And then, that 23 season, he was doing pretty good things there, leading into the finals and whatnot. But I feel like this is the Ricky's back game. So I went to him. So 80 minutes, he ended up punching out 17 runs, 148 meters, 51 post contact. He did 1 line break. He had 5 tackle breaks, 33 tackles, 3 missed, 1 ineffective for 89.1% efficiency. 1 penalty and 1 on report, which I'm going to be honest, fuck me. If Reid Mahoney can get away with nothing over the 2 things he got cited for, how is Ricky getting 2 weeks for a
Someone
game
falling
incident?
into him.
Seriously. Anyway, if Busstock didn't stay down, I reckon nothing comes of that. It's as simple as that. Anyway, Ricky, mate, if you ever listen to it or whatever, great effort. Loved it. Loved seeing the little burst up the field there before our first try and whatnot. Now, for the Thoroughbreds, we had a great response to the poll on both Facebook and Instagram stories. You guys seem to love that, so we'll definitely keep doing that. I think we ended up with 20 plus votes all up across both platforms or whatever. And they went Shiba Saski by a mile, 88% went with Shiba. Stag's got a couple of votes here and there, but it was a resounding yes. So we'll run through that. So he did 80 minutes as well, 2 tries, 17 runs for 188 meters with 42 post contact, 2 line breaks, 9 tackle breaks, 1 offload, 10 tackles and 4 missed for 71.43% efficiency. He had 1 error as well. I think that was a handling error and whatnot. But what a story from this man. From what I've found, he left his family. His family's here in Townsville because he's contracted to the Cowboys, the most recent. I know he's got extended family all up North Queensland, up to the Cairns area. He's left them here, gone down for a trial and train with the Broncos just to give it one last sort of crack. Everyone's probably heard the Madge interview where he said day one, he wasn't sure. He was like, nah, what's going on here sort of thing. Sat down, had a chat with him, and he reckons you could, from what he was saying, he understood what he wanted to do. Obviously Madge has given him the tools to go and do that. And then Shiba as well's, pulled his own finger out or whatever he's had to do to make it happen on his own. But now, he's gone from barely a fringe first grader to somebody who you've nearly got to have on your Supercoach team and on your bet slips because the lad is stacking up points. So congratulations to Gamat on Thoroughbred man of the match. He got man of the match for the actual game too, which is good.
Yeah.
Well done. So we'll move on to the individual players here. I'll run through the top stats. Most tackles was Haas at 41. Absolute animal. Most run meters was Shiba with 188. He also got the most line breaks, most points. Went to Shiba as well. Most post contact meters, 71 by Mr. Payne Haas. Incredible in the conditions that were. Carrigan knocked off 18 runs. Most offloads went to Goswalski, from what I've got here. And then most tackle breaks was Shiba as well with 9. And then just a quick run over the Dolphins. Poor Herbie did everything but win the game for him.
Yeah.
He did most run meters, most post contact, most runs, most offloads, and most tackle breaks. dominated the stat sheets there. Just a little bit of a highlight, and we all knew it coming into the season, but Ben Hunt once again topped the most missed tackles. So I mean, I didn't get a chance today. I was meant to go back through and just circle, where those missed tackles were and whether he fell away or whatever it was. But I didn't get a chance to do that, so we'll take it as it is. All right, on to the back line. We had Walsh, Cobbo, Staggs, Gamat, and Arthurs there. They, the back line was the best in the team for points, tries, all runs, and run meters. Most line breaks, and funny enough, they drew with the most try assists. But they did total 5 errors all up, which was the most in the whole group of teams. So, anyone got any comments on these individuals? Any notes there?
Mate, I've just got a bit more on Reece. I think Reece done everything that we all wanted him to do this week. Is just take the bullshit out, do your job. He took I think it was 17 hit ups or 13 hit ups or some bloody thing.
Yep.
Which is just good grindy work that we need him to do. I think his organisation and defence, after Madge said that last week in the press conference after the loss, I was watching it early on when they did have us under the pump. The amount of times he was in the line making the tackle, getting to second marker and just barking at our line, telling where to be and then shooting off to wherever the ball was, I think it was very impressive. And another thing, just quickly, is that no cramps in a wet weather game like that where he'd been made to work properly. Katoa was kicking the shit out of it as much as he could, and Reece got through a lot of work in the heavy conditions, and no cramps. So I think that's a positive that we haven't seen that sort of this year. So his fitness must be up there, or whatever his diet has got to do. But yeah, simple. He's supported really well. You'll see a fair few of, I think it's Shibber's first try where he's trailing. He's right there. If Gamet overruns it or something, Reece is right there to take that offload. A lot of their plays, even he was out the back where they played the front man. I'm pretty sure that was Ricky's break for Staggs' try. I think you'll see Reece sort of hanging around. He draws in a defender, and then Ricky, who I thought was brilliant, really took it to the defensive line. So I think that was just a really good bounce back game for Reece in the conditions. And I think the halves really set it up a lot better for him. They didn't put him under the pressure. And then when they did want to pull the trigger, he only really had one opportunity for a sort of try assist, and he got it right. With hands like that in those conditions, there's very few players that can do it, and we know that he can do it. And yeah, so I was just really happy with that game for him, mate. I hope he's proud of it, because that's the sort of game that claps back to all those people that really shit on him. Like this, if there's a game that he was going to shit the bed, this was going to be it in those conditions, and he really tightened it up. So I think that shows the maturity of the man, and how he's willing to really tuck it under the wing to get better for the whole team. So I was really happy about that.
Yeah, that try assist he did, the previous week, those were going to ground. Yeah. He didn't have the space in front of him to get that off, but he was still trying to force it. So props to Ben Hunt and whatnot for getting him a little bit deeper there on that and taking advantage. The Dolphins their line speed pulled up something chronic in the second half there. So they definitely identified that. What about you, Langers, mate? You got any chat on some of these boys?
Yeah, I fully agree with Ringer on Reece. The sort of turnaround from last week to this week, or the last 2 weeks to this week, is just it's chalk and cheese, and I think it's what everybody wanted to see, and I think it's what even Reece wanted to see in himself. So yeah, like what the Ringer said, if he was going to shit the bed, it would have been this game in the conditions that they had to play in. But no, he really tightened it up, so it was really, really good to see. And 9 tackles, only 1 miss, take that all day sort of thing. So it was it was really, really good to see. Shibasaki, that bloke he was playing like a man possessed, wasn't he? He was just busting tackles and he was on fire. So it was really, really good to see that sort of fairy tale story that you sort of highlighted, Britto. It's just really good to see that a bloke like that, a bit of a journeyman that's been released by a few clubs, sort of come back to the Broncos and just light it up. So hopefully the big fella can just continue to do that for us for the rest of the season, really. Apart from that, Stags with 23 tackles and 5 missed. I thought 5 was a bit surprising of a number for 5 missed, but for the 23 tackles, the amount of important tackles that he did to stop Herbie Farnworth, mate, was just... I think that's why a few people voted for him for man of the match, because I think he alone probably stopped about 18 points just from Herbie sort of not making a break or anything like that. So, props to my boy Katoni. But no, apart from that, just the stat sort of graphic, mate. It's good to see, like all the runs and the run meters. They all made over 100 meters except for Reese, who made 87, which is still a good amount. And, like Reese obviously did have a bit more of a quieter game than the other sort of couple of weeks, but it's what we needed. It's not, it's not what we didn't need him to be, that erratic sort of person on the field. He just did his job and let everybody else do theirs as well. So, no, it was just, it was really, really good to see. And, apart from that, fuck yeah.
I have to say that Stags' defensive stat that you just come up with there, Langers, is so right. Herbie had to go away from his left edge, our right edge, to get some distance between him and the defense, because Katoni was on him like a fucking rat.
Yeah.
And like that, he's got those couple of missed tackles, but a couple of them were where he was covering and grounded Herbie, but like slid off in the conditions. Like Herbie was on the ground. But yeah, I totally agree with that. He fucking was incredible I think you'll see most of Herbie's meters and post contacts of that, where he's playing 2 in from like the second rower, going through the middle to try and get a bit of space, because Katoni was just not giving him any, which really, that shores up that right edge for us so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he snuck inside and got smacked by Piakura.
Yeah. Go to the middle.
Couldn't win. But if you have a look at it, like, I know Katoni didn't only tackle Herbie, but Herbie made 26 runs. Stags had 23 tackles.
He might have only tackled Herbie.
Mate, I dead set he might have only, but yeah, the ones he did make you definitely remembered them, because he was all over him like an absolute rash.
Yeah.
And Herbie's probably the best. There's conversations where Herbie's the best centre in the game. So it's pretty incredible that first game back this year, Katoni goes, fuck it, I'm going to make a point of this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's been a bit quiet, but he's obviously going to get up for this game. Definitely coming up against the old team. I think Cobbo with Stags back. We've seen it in the first 10 minutes when they did push us and bully us on our line there. Weeks prior, when Mariner was there, he was sort of keeping his shoulders, I guess, forward facing and in, and then backtracking as the attack was coming. On the Friday night, he was full back to the defense, full back to the attack, just concentrating on where his man, and just full trust in Stags that he was going to get there. So you could see straight away that edge had been shored up, and Cobbo was a lot more confident with Stags there. And then the fact that they want to do 40-meter fucking spiral passes in the back, bringing kicks back in the wet. Yeah. Come on, lads! Like, I wonder how Madge's heart rate was at that point.
Like everybody else's, I'd imagine. We're in a fucking roof.
But no, it was good to see. It was good to see the confidence and the trust, I guess, from that sort of stuff. So, I think they diffused quite a few 40-20s there, didn't they? There was 3 or something attempts made and whatnot. Arthur's had a quiet night, but I think with the way that Shiva was having a game, that he was never going to get involved, sort of thing.
Missions too.
Yeah, so but I mean he's 100% tackle efficiency. The 7 that he had to make, he made them, and whatnot. But the entire back line, if you want to know, Thoroughbreds ran for 659 meters and tackled at 84.05% efficiency. So not the best in the team, but definitely on about that average. I think they actually improved from the week before, slightly. All right, we'll move on to the halves and the hooker. Benny Hunt, Adam Reynolds, and Cory Paix. No sort of highlighted stuff here in terms of where they sit with the team, but solid numbers. Still got a couple of points through there. They all ran for they had 14 runs for 97 meters in total. Interesting enough, like I said in the last episode with Paixy doing 0 runs, the moment he does run, he scores points. So great to see that there is a game plan and he's absolutely hooked on and sticking to it. That was good. Tackle breaks ended up being 5. Benny Hunt made 4, which was pretty good. And their tackle efficiency was 83.7% combined. So, I mean, I haven't really got much sort of to say. They did a masterclass as far as I'm concerned. They linked really well and started to show the gelling. But Langers, have you got anything on the halves, mate?
Yeah, no, not really. I'm sort of with you, Britto. Like, I think they just all did their job. I think Benny is sort of starting to really be sort of that attacking opportunity in the halves, whereas Reynolds is more, obviously Reynolds has got plenty of attack as well, but it sort of just seems like those stats in the last couple of weeks, just watching them, sort of like Benny's more than happy to sort of challenge the defense a little bit more and whatnot. So that's good to see. 16 tackles with 7 missed is obviously not great, but at least that none of them had any errors, so that's always a plus that we'll take every day. No, but yeah, no. Apart from that, mate, no, not really. What about you, Ringer?
Yeah, mate. I think the same with Hunty. I think he seems to be the half that looks like he's going to take the line on that extra step compared to Renault. Renault's going to be more distributing, maybe just because of his body over the last couple of years. He's just looking after himself, but Hunty seems to be digging into that line, which set up Gamat's first try and then Reese's tap on to Gamat for the second one. Like, the fence is worried about him because he's such a little nuggety bastard that if he can get 1-on-1, they're worried about him dummying and going himself, which we haven't really seen yet, which I think might be coming as he gains confidence on that edge, because like we've seen it in Origin, the little bastard's got that in him where he does that Dearden sort of line where he throws the big dummy, ducks under some forward that's coming across and he'll jump over. So I think that's coming. Has got some niche tackles in him, but in saying that, he did make some really good tackles in the wet too. So I'm getting less and less worried about that. If Jack can make up for that defense.
Yeah.
If Hardy's going to miss them, Jack's got to make them. So that's the only thing. And this might be controversial, but if you didn't know who Harry Grant was, Cory Paix would be the Queensland 9, in my opinion.
Huge.
Like, you got, and I'm saying this from a perspective of, like, obviously Harry's a Queensland 9 and Hunt's the 14. Like, we just know that's what's going to happen. But if this was your first year watching rugby league and you're watching Harry Grant at the moment and you're watching Cory Paix, they're not in the same class. Like, Paixy gets through his fucking tackles. He does such great work in the middle. He missed 1 tackle, I'm pretty sure, on the stat sheet there. 36 made. And all he does is deliver pill. Like, he's not going to take the run for you, except for that one time he knew he had him stripped and he took it and scored a try off it. So that tells you that he's not adverse to taking the line on. He just knows when to do it. And I think in a world, if you didn't know who the halves for Queensland were right now, and you were just watching the halves this year, Paixy would be, if not the 9, he'd be definitely in the conversation. So that might be a bit controversial, but I mean, I just like how he plays, and I'm sure you boys do too. He just does the shit work, and we've got a
Yep.
team full of like Ferraris. He just does the shit work,
Yep.
tackles, and always gets to where he needs to be. And like, there's never a pass that's on the shoulder or behind,
Yeah.
or it's like the pill's hitting where it needs to, and that's all you need from him. And we don't need a creative hooker. That's who we need right now. So I think it's amazing. Talk about like we're talking about Gamat as a really good fairy tale story. Pate's got to be up there too. He didn't play a
Yeah.
game last year. He had Moser, Walters, and Smoothie in front of him, and then this year he's the 9, where everyone else has really got to work to take it off him. So I think that's a really good reflection on Madge's coaching too. That we've got these players that were not even on the radar that are now pretty much locks for starting positions. So, I think that's positive moving forward. And yeah, Renault and Honey, mate, wet weather footy. Renault kicked the shit out of it. So
Yeah.
he pinned him in corners. He didn't kick it dead. He was brilliant. So I think the halves and the 9 were really good.
On that, the overall kick meters, 684 to the Dolphins versus 1,100 to us.
Wow.
Over a kilometre of kicking.
Mate,
Excellent.
I think Hunt did 6 kicks for 243 meters. Renault had 19 kicks for 733. Walshy chipped in there with, I think he had 2 kicks for 32 meters or whatnot. But yeah, like absolutely brilliant on that. All right, we'll go straight into the forwards, into the engine room here. Fairly solid attempts here again. They topped the post-contact meters for the team, 193, which was good. Good to see. Tied with the try assists, which is rare. Tackle breaks, 15. Good again. Offloads, 3. 0 errors as well. And just again, thoroughbreds, the errors are literally errors, not ruck infringements inside 10, all that, just purely errors. So that was good to see. Tackling at 88.4% efficiency, which was the best group in the team. So good to see that that middle is tight as. But we had Carrigan, Haas, Goswowski, Ricky, and Hetherington. Now, I'm concerned about Hetherington, because I have not found why he went off on the 24th minute and did not come back on.
Yeah, just I was looking at that too. You
Yep.
won't find it on NRL app, but on Channel 9, Lockie went and interviewed him, and like in the sheds after the game, and he said he got kneed or something in the hip, and it just deadened his hip. Like he said that he doesn't think it's anything bad, but he just like while they were still in control, they just thought they better not risk it. So yeah, because I seen that, I was like, what the fuck's happened to Kobe? And then and I couldn't find anything on Fox of that, and then just randomly I was watching the 9 sort of highlights, and it had Lockie going in the sheds, and he just randomly walked up to him and said, "You're all good, bro," and said, "Yeah, I got a knock in the hip," and they know whether it's corked or not. I think we're okay, but we just didn't want to risk it, blah, blah. So that's, some news.
All right, sweet. Oh, well, he'll be good to go then. Good to see that we have that sort of faith as well in a wet weather game and whatnot. And we still only use 7 out of our 8 interchanges.
Yeah.
So hats off to everyone. Fit as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bringer, have you got any chat on the forwards, mate?
Yeah, mate. I think in a team with Payne Haas, where you could talk about every week as being probably the best, and he probably was, but he was definitely quieter for Payne standards.
Yeah.
But he's still incredible. But I mean, going back to what you said at the start, Jordan Ricky, I think, had a breakout game.
Beautiful.
He didn't get a try assist on his scorecard, but essentially it was with that break he made with and getting that quick play the ball for Katoni to just follow a trailing defender and score a try.
Yeah.
But yeah, 150 meters, 51 post contact, 33 tackles. He really looked like 17 hit ups too, which are we're using our second rower again, which might be wet weather footy, but I mean it gives you that option, gives you that space, doesn't it? So I really like what Ricky done. Paddy and Payne, yeah, it's the same old, mate. Just put them up there. They make no mistakes. They don't miss tackles. They don't do anything wrong. They're two of the best. Kobe, yeah, that was, he had to go off and up until only about an hour before this podcast, before I seen that information on the shed stuff. But yeah, and Jack was better, but I don't know whether it's just then the team is not going to use him, or whether I just don't understand that role. I still can't understand it. He had 6 runs for 46 meters for 25 tackles, 4 missed.
Yeah.
Like, it was a better game. It was. He got a couple offloads and that, and it was. Even just putting an eye over it, he did set up the first try, whatever. But what are we using that left edge for?
Yeah.
Like, when you've got players like that's our Shibasaki, Arthur's, Walsh, coming around shape side with Benny Hunt, and we've got a forward that doesn't seem to be a running threat yet, because he took 6 runs for the game. So the defense is sort of thinking, well, anyway. So I still can't see it. Madge has obviously got a plan there because he hasn't pulled him yet. But yeah, and it's not him, I don't think, maybe, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem to take those runs when we need it in when we're in trouble. You know what I mean? And to take 6 hit-ups all game,
Yeah.
that's not good enough, I don't think. And yeah, I just like, if I can get 10 out of him a game, like in the next couple, I'll be like, I'll start to understand more. And if he can clean up these missed tackles, I'll be like happy. Okay, well, we just got a plan here and we're going to stick to it. But I mean, yeah, at the moment, mate, he's the only one that's dragging the chain in that forward pack full of superstars. And, I hope he comes good, and I hope that I see what Madge sees in him soon, but I just can't see it when you've got Pakura come off the bench, and he made some great defensive efforts before even the hit on Herbie. So, yeah, I don't know. And he was fresh too, obviously, I know. But, I mean, yeah, I'd just like to see a little bit more output.
Yeah, I think Kobe did 21 minutes, 24 minutes, and he even did 4 hit-ups. And he got through 18 tackles. He was nearly keeping up with the clock when it comes to tackles. But maybe Goswelski's not meant to be, because, like you said, that's a fast edge. You've got Shiba, Arthurs, Walsh. Maybe he can't be in there because the speed is just too much, and he's purely there as a defensive for Hunty. Mate, like, I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of the head right now. Like, maybe he's just meant to be the brick wall that no one's supposed to run at Hunt. So maybe he's got to sharpen up on the defense side of thing. I did see an interesting comment on the socials as well about how with the whole Reese and whatnot and the speed of that side with Ezra not there, and Hunt being that couple of steps slower than what Walsh is used to. So, yeah, maybe they've got, now that, Ezra's gone, we haven't got Piakura there, who is pretty quick, and we've gone for Hunt a little bit slower, Goswelski a little bit slower, and they're just trying to find that balance in there. But anyway, that's just straight off the top of my head. But, Langers, what about you, mate? Anything for the engine room?
No, I think Ringer sort of summed it up pretty well. It does be a bit unfortunate for Jack when he is put into a stat graphics with Carrigan and Haas, though. You look at those 2 lads' stats, and it's just like phenomenal and superb. And then you've got poor old Jack that, I mean, he is sort of dragging the chain, but, he may have a different role that Madge has put him on that we just haven't clocked onto yet. I don't get it either, but, like a bit of glazing for our boy Pass, as we called him last episode. Like 17 runs, 155 meters, the most, 71 post contact, amazing, 5 tackle breaks, 41 tackles, like 0 errors.
Yeah.
I mean, The lad is just fucking unstoppable, eh?
Maybe Jack's trying to tackle, but Haas has just taken them all, mate.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
knocking them down before he can get there.
Yeah, just
Just
pass
puts
the
his
oranges, Jack. I got this.
just puts his hand on it once it's done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm helping.
Yeah. But no, like Jordan Ricky's stats have obviously definitely improved, so I can see why you had him as your man of the match, Britto. So that's good to see. But yeah, sort of old Jack Jaswelski, whatever the fuck his last name is. Yeah, I think hopefully, yeah, there's sort of some sort of light shines on what his role is and why he isn't sort of doing what we would probably expect him to do and what everybody else in the forwards pack is doing. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's one of Madge's little plays and little tricks up his sleeve. Who knows? And we just gotta trust in Madge. But like what the ringer said, like for what Piakura is doing, I don't understand why Jack is taking that spot over him. Like whether I don't know, like Piakura's attitude is just not great or something, and sort of Madge is just punishing him or just trialing new things because we've got a bit of a weaker sort of, couple of teams that you can sort of trial Jack and see how they go. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully something clicks soon, or yeah, get him out of there and put Brendan in and see what Brendan can do in a run-on spot. I reckon.
I'm the same as that too, Lang, is that if he was a defensive play, I want him making 35 tackles.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like you got Ricky on the other side making 17 hit-ups and 33 tackles.
Yeah.
The other side 6 and 25. Like, and maybe maybe the defense isn't going there, whatever, for that game. But we've seen a pattern over the last few games where the tackles and the runs aren't there. So
Yeah.
maybe that's something he's going to build on. I don't know, but I totally agree with you. I just don't see it right now. But what do we fucking know? We're not Madge Maguire, are we? So
That's it. I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to that. So, like, I just want people to, have a crack and whatnot. But Goswelski, again, we got to remember he was barely a fringy before this year. Now he's found himself, wearing the run-on jersey for the Brisbane Broncos. So there's something there that's going on, but I'd love to know. But we'll soon find out, I guess. But onto the bench, didn't blow the socks off anything, but did exactly what we wanted them to do. I think overall the win was a great team win. I think if you go back and really do have a good look at it, it probably was a little bit of a training run. There's probably some tasks, some KPIs that Madge had set out for them,
Yes.
we got to get to these points on the field. You got to do this, got to do that. And I think, if he goes back and has a look, he might tick a lot of boxes and be quite happy. So, the Tigers coming up, which we'll talk about, but they absolutely had an absolute war with the Warriors. It was at home, so they don't have to travel over and back and whatnot, but that'll take a bit out of them. So, and I think Madge will be running over that with Trent Barrett will be with a fine-tooth comb anyway. So, onto the bench, we had Walters, Jensen, Willison, Piakura. Smoothie was 18th man there, but didn't get a run. Like I said, they didn't top anything. They made one error, and that was Willison. They tackled at 84.3%. Great. 230 run meters. Billy was up there. He had a tackle break, an offload. So did Willison. He had 2 tackle breaks. But yeah, I love what Willison is doing off the bench. I think if Paddy or Payne go down, he'll slot straight into that immediately. We will obviously lose Paddy and Payne, but I mean, Willison coming on and filling that role will do a pretty good job.
Yep.
Piakura, I'm pretty excited because obviously we've got no Ricky for the next 2 weeks. I am pretty excited to see. I think he'll be coming on to his non-preferred side. I highly doubt they'll move Jack to the other side of the field and whatnot. But I'm excited to see what he'll do with the run-on. Also interested to see on who will come in onto the bench now and what Madge will play there. So, Langers, mate, have you got any chat on the bench?
Yeah, just looking at the stats there, obviously Billy Walters' 20 tackles with 2 missed is vastly improved from last week's 3 tackles and 2 missed. So that's good to see. But yeah, no, Big X, 9 runs for 46 post contact. Love that. That's, tick
Yep.
that box. But no, like once again, Corey Jensen, fucking old Ringers big boy there. He just doing his fucking job too,
Yeah.
So
Warhorse.
yeah, absolute warhorse. It's a great way to put it. So no, like it's good that our bench isn't just full of nufties. Like they come on and they do their job, and they give the starting boys a rest, so they can maintain their spot, and the Broncos can keep firing. So no, it's good. Good stats to see.
What about you, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, mate. My boy Jensen, like he's one of the best props in any other team in the comp, isn't he? Like just with his work rate off the bench, like let alone like the only reason he's on the bench is because he's behind probably the best prop rotation in the competition.
Yep.
Put him into any other side, he's probably he is run on. I don't think there's a probably in it. I think he definitely is. So he's just doing great things for us. Big X, mate. I was really impressed with the way he pulled his socks up this game. I think he made 88 meters and 46 of them were post contact.
Yeah.
So, like, he was, they were trying to jam him and he was making more, like, he was making the same amount of meters from when they hit him from when he wasn't. So, which is a great stat, and 2 tackle breaks on top of it. Obviously, Bakura going into Ricky's role next couple of weeks is going to be a really, like, for him, he needs to just hold the ball and do his fucking job well, and to prove to Mads, like, hey, I'm here if you need me to fill that left edge spot. So hopefully he takes that opportunity with both hands. It's going to be very interesting who they bring on to that bench, like you said. So, and I thought Billy was good, mate. Billy don't fucking take on the line on your own for no reason sort of shit. Just get in, do your job, and like he's a good 14 for that, mate, because we know he can play 6 if we need him to. We've got 2 7s pretty much running around on our field. So if he just comes on and does his work in the middle, like Lang has said, make his tackles, only 2 missed, and just distribute the ball where we need it, and come up with a great shot. Obviously, that led to that sort of like it. I don't know what gets in his head that he thinks he has to create in a team full of Broncos that can create anything from fucking the 5-meter line. Like you said before about throwing 40-meter spirals to get out of our own end goal twice in the one play. Like, calm down. So I think Billy, like if you could mold that Billy into every game, you would take it, because you know that he can play 6 if we need him to, and he just done a really good job of that. And like Wayne said, credit where credit's due. We bag him out when he fucks up, but he played really well this week, and I think he needs to be congratulated for that.
Yeah.
Because in that sort of weather, he has the potential to make some mistakes. So, really happy with the bench, mate.
Mate, he's a Nepo baby, but he's our Nepo baby. So
Exactly. Yeah, we can make fun of it, but anyone else can get fucked.
yeah, that's exactly right. Just a quick shout out to Cory, just while you mentioned his 38 tackle effort there. That was the most for any forward. And he was off the bench. So yeah, I know Payne 41, sure. But like Jensen's coming off the bench making 38, Carrigan's making 35, Jack's making 25, Jordan's making 33. So Jensen just getting in there and taking a bit of workload off the lads and making sure that his tackles stick. So it's really good to see.
Do any of you lads have a prediction on who the 17's going to be?
I'm going to
vote Big Ben myself.
Oh,
yeah, Big Ben. Love to see it.
I got to go Marty.
I'd love to see Marty too.
Yeah.
Like, I won't be upset if Marty gets in.
Yeah,
I'm going to go Big Ben.
What about you, Ringer, mate? Who you got?
Mate, it's hard for me. The only reason I would go Marty is Ben is only 19.
Yeah.
And, like, we've got a team of, like, youngish players. And I'd love to see, like, if Marty wasn't in the picture, it'd be Ben. But Marty has been so good to us as a club. in the end of last year when we were going like busted asses, he was probably our most level-headed and most rounded footballer. And I think that he needs to be rewarded for that, even in the preseason. Like we've seen in, I think the 2 games, we've seen run it hard Marty make a shit ton of post-contact meters. And then in the second game, we got offload Marty back, which is fucking dangerous in our team. So I'd give Marty the first crack just because Ben's going to get a crack. Origin period injuries is going to come. Like, you know, so for me, just because Marty's given so much to this club in like the twilight of his career, I'd give him a run just to sort of bring the calmness back to, like, if we need it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's the only reason, mate. That I bring Marty on.
That's a good shout. I won't be sad with whoever gets picked, but if we can get offload Marty mixed with offload Pain up against the Tigers, could be devastating. We're on to the Gronk. Anyone notice how many tips he got on the weekend?
No.
Me?
Yeah, he got fuck all, and one of them was the Broncos.
He didn't tip the cows, obviously.
No, he didn't. But I have had a quick squiz at his video for this week, and he couldn't have done it any better. So without further ado, here he is.
Righto. Now look, I know you're going to fucking up me for not tipping me boys to get the job done against the Raiders, but here's a little troll. Just try and unravel this form for me. So you clap the Roosters, Manly clap us, the Raiders clap the Wars, Roosters clap Penrith, you clap us, the Wars clap the Roosters, Manly clap the Raiders, the Wars clap Manly, the Raiders clap you, and then we clap the Raiders. Fucking work that
out. Make it make sense, eh?
Yeah.
I feel like, what's that? Russel Crowe, Beautiful Mind, with the fucking shit on the fucking wall, trying to figure out this week's tipping coming up. Like, Jesus Christ.
He isn't wrong, is it? Like, if you can't, there's no such, it's not like racing where you can try and follow form lines. It's just like throw it all up in the air and hope for the fucking best at the moment in this competition.
That's it, because we got different tracks as well. We got fast tracks, wet tracks, fucking the whole lot. Buddy, I was amazed at the game that the Warriors-Tigers threw up just before. That was...
Fuck yeah. Go to the round.
Mate. I haven't seen a game like that in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, have we got any more chat on him? What do you got, Langers?
No, I was just going to say, like, I tipped the Tigers, but I was definitely cheering for the Wars just so we could get some money back in the bank with your bet. Fucking Storm.
I've been the one leaking the coin lately. It's good to get one back.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
All right, we'll look ahead to the week ahead. That is injuries. Fletcher Baker, MCL rehab to be confirmed. I've added Hayes Perham on there because poor lad was getting lost. He doesn't show up on any of the injury lists. So, but I put him in there. ACL, bit of a rehab, but his season is done, unfortunately. The only reason I remembered him is because Brendan Piakura put up on his socials a bit of a gimme laugh video about him.
Hobbling down the steps.
So I put him straight on there. Blake Moser also has that shoulder. Now, I might, while you guys are talking later on, but have a quick look because I think he got named in Q Cup on the weekend. I just want to have a look. I just remember now, I wanted to go and have a look at his stats. So I'll suss that out while you guys are talking. Judiciary. Ezra obviously is still off, back round 10. Jordan Ricky, grade 2 careless high tackle, second offence, 2 weeks with an early guilty plea, 3 weeks if challenged. So he's available to come back round 6 or 7. Do they go and challenge it? Obviously, they haven't done it yet, and I don't think he's lodged his plea at all. But do they go and challenge it? I mean, seriously, like, what do you guys reckon, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, mate. Unfortunately, I think if he challenges, he can't win, just because of the precedents that they've set. in those sort of hearings. However, I really think there needs to be, and it's not just because of Ricky, and it's not just because it's the Broncos player. I feel sorry for every player that's second in on a tackle on a falling player that headbutts them in the shoulder, and then they get done for contact to the head. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine with a penalty. I'm fine with all of that, and even if it's even if it looks ugly enough, maybe give them 10, but don't rub them out next week because there was no intention to hit the head in this tackle. And,
Yeah.
and that's across the board for every rugby league player. Is that I think a lot, and a lot of them are now, is that someone goes in and chops the thighs or chops the hips, and the second player in's coming in to try and make a wrap the ball up tackle. They drop. It's that fast how this thing happens. They drop by 6 inches,
Yeah.
and their 10 hits them in the shoulder. There's zero malice in it. Like, and there's so many replays now. Like, you can see when someone's actually, dropping the elbow and trying to fucking shoulder someone in the head, and it gets, or shoulder someone in the bloody ribs, and it gets missed times, and they hit them in the head. That's completely different to someone that's trying to make a front-on tackle, and someone's head hits them in the shoulder. So, like, I down the track, I know we've got to protect the head. So I'm perfectly happy with a penalty. I'm perfectly happy with all that. And if it's bad enough, I don't care if they get 10. I just don't think they should miss weeks for something that hasn't got malice in. Like, I think missing future games should be from malice and like malice or really, really lazy intention.
Yeah.
And like, I think that would just give every fan a little bit clearer definition on what's going on, because at the moment it's a bit of a lottery on who gets weeks and who gets a fine and who gets what. So, so if you're second man in, if you're second man to the contact, it's you don't get anywhere near as big of a penalty as anyone else.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Langers, mate? You got an opinion on that?
Yeah, I'm with the ringer on that one. Was it Reynolds was first in, just like chopped him sort of low, and then he just
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
into
Yep.
Ricky? I think what gets me is that it's classed as a careless high tackle, and like
Yeah.
what the ringer said, like there was no malice in it. It was no carelessness about it, and like what you said, Britto, before, like I think if Bostock just got up and played the ball straight away, it probably wouldn't have even been classed as a penalty sort of thing. It was that non-intentional. Like, I think there's an argument that maybe Reese's shoulder charge was probably more of a carelessness sort of thing on Murray Taulagi last week than what that was. So for that, I would probably want to challenge it just because of how it all went down. But like what the ringer said, like you're fighting a losing battle. So, like, I mean, your argument could be like, well, look what else happened this round and no one else is sitting, in the waiting room to come in after us. So, what the fuck sort of thing. But yeah, the precedent has been set. So I think he's just got to suck it and take those 2 weeks, unfortunately. But yeah, it is a bit of a shit one. And I know it's shit because if the roles are reversed and it happened to one of us, you would sort of be like, probably didn't deserve those 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's if you can look at it from that perspective and still have the same conclusion, then yeah, I think you can sort of safely say that I think, a careless high tackle is a bit of a stretch to call that one, I think. But yeah, sucks to be the big fella. And yeah, luckily for us and Madge, like we've covered numerous times, we have the depth to cover the big fella. So yeah, it gives someone else a spot and gives someone else a spot on the bench. So yeah, we'll just see what Teamless Tuesday looks like and go from there.
It's crazy.
You'd hate to be, you go, Britto.
It's crazy at the start of the season. We were worried about depth in the second row position, and now we're here. Ricky's going on a 2-week holiday, and we're not worried.
No.
What were you going to say, Ringer, mate?
Mate, well, we've got the Warriors after his 2-week ban, so I'd hate to be Chance or any one of the back three that's on the end of the first kick chase after Ricky, who's obviously bloody fit as a fiddle from these games first on, getting 2 weeks R&R.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fun, I don't think, for the first team that has to play him on kick chase.
Oh,
That's it. Ricky, hit the gym, mate, because if you're looking good and playing good, both me and the missus are happy. In
What's your toy's name, Jordan?
in other news, Blake Moser did play for the Magpies, who put an absolute beating on the Falcons, 42-18.
That's
He
good.
played 50 minutes, scored a meat pie, 7 runs for 63 meters, 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, 2 try assists, 3 tackle breaks. He tackled 16 for 1 miss, which was great, 2 offloads, and a clean sheet of errors, ruck infringements, inside the 10, everything.
Oh, Billy
Blake
Walters got
Moser.
1 week left.
Whoa.
There's some nervous people around.
So, welcome back, Blake, whenever that is.
Fuck yeah.
We'll see how it. We'll see. Well, fuck me. I mean, Teamless Tuesday. Maybe nothing changes and Moser just comes straight back in and Walters drops to that 17 role.
Yeah,
Maybe.
There's a scenario.
perfect 18.
Perfect. Yeah. So once again, we're at Suncorp Stadium. Glory to us. Up against the Tigers on Saturday, the 5th at 6:35 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. What do we got here? The Tigers. So obviously none of the stats have been updated to reflect this weekend. But before this weekend going into it, we had a 23-9 edge over the Tigers in games played. They've got us in completion rate at 82%, but ours will adjust a little bit more. I think it'll be pretty level after this week going in. Tackle efficiency, we're about the same, 86.9 versus 86.6%. Got the same amount of wins for the season. We're at a 75% rate for both teams, 58% win rate at this venue, 42% for the Tigers. Last time we met was at Campbelltown, round 8, 2024. We dusted them 34-10. That, however, is an old Tigers outfit that we played, and we now have the new and improved 2025 version.
Yep.
Possessions have been running. In that game, the possession was, and I guess this reflects as well with the Dolphins stats where we didn't really win a lot. We didn't really win a lot here either, and we still pumped them 34-10. So that just shows where the Tigers were at, I think, last year. So it'll be interesting to see how this game does unfold. But last 5 games, we have had Bulldogs in the preseason for a win, Roosters win, Canberra loss, Cowboys win, Dolphins win. The Tigers have gone Eels win in the last game of the preseason. They lost to the Knights in the first round, but then since then they've gone Eels, Dolphins, Warriors for the win. Now, the other way around, Warriors for the loss.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not nervous because the teams that they did beat are sort of bottom dwellers at the moment, with the way that their form is going. The Warriors, the fact that it was so close against the Warriors does kind of worry me, that they are improving and whatnot. But anyway, should be a great game. How do you see it going, Ringer?
Yeah, mate. I think fundamentals is what can beat the Tigers. As it's a pretty new roster with like how they're putting it together. So I think if we just do our job properly, we'll get the win. Like we've got to shut down Luai, Galvin, Terrell May. If we do that, I think we take away their second phase and in turn their point scoring ability. So, they're not right now as we look at it, it's $4.35 to the Tigers, which I think's way overs for anyone at this time of season. But I mean, I hate playing the Tigers personally. I don't know why, but it seems like they can be a prick of a team to beat us at terrible times in our season. So, but it is at home. I think we pump them if we do the fundamentals right and we focus on just doing good footy well, if you know what I mean. Like, just play our game and shut down. Like, Terrell May is incredible. Like, he's going to try and bring that big dick tiger energy to Suncorp and try and put it over Paddy and Payne. We know that's going to come. So if we can wear that, I think that takes away all of their go forward. And then if we can shut down Galvin and Luai, then I think like we take their points away and then we run away with it. But if we don't and we decide to take a breather for a week, I think they can upset us.
Yeah. I'm salivating for this Haas versus May matchup. This is going to be...
Payne's going to take this personally, surely.
Yeah, because they're both New South Wales, yeah. So, this is essentially a matchup for who gets that, number 8 or number 10 jersey for the Blues. So, be good to see. Langers, what about you?
I'm sure Payne might see some of the social media about, May being the informed prop of the year so far and shit like that. It's like, I would be terrified to be the fucking Tigers if Payne sees that and goes, I've got a point to prove.
Yeah.
You call down the thunder.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to go. What about you, Langers, mate? How do you see the game unfolding?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Broncos 13 plus. We'll just get that out of the road, just straight up. Obviously, it goes without saying. But no, obviously the Tigers are a different outfit than last year. They have recruited really well. I never want to lose to Jerome Luai because he's a ringworm. But yeah, I agree with both of yous, and like the ringer especially. Like if they just do their job, then the Tigers won't have an answer to what the Broncos can throw at them. Hopefully Payne just dismantles everyone like he is known to do and just does his job once again. But no, I think it'll still be a pretty exciting sort of game. It won't be sort of boring, I don't think. The sort of attack that the Tigers can put on now is exciting. It's a bit electrifying. So, but I mean, you look at the team lists and, the Broncos on paper are just a phenomenal team. So, hopefully they can put it all together and just, 13 plus. But, remains to be seen.
Be interesting to see Renault up against Luai in that 7 battle now. I know, some people will probably take Galvin. He's fresh, young, faster, probably with Hunt there, but it'll be the older heads versus, I guess, relatively new heads, especially only because Luai's new to the jersey and that role, I guess, is where I'm coming from. Pity Ricky's not there because I reckon him and, is it Seyfarth? Is that the second row for the...
or Finau on his side. I can't remember. But
be great to see. Yeah. Piakura, though, makes that interesting even more now, though. So, interesting matchups all across the field. All right, we'll get on to the tipping and the Super Crows.
No, thank you.
Yeah. That's it. So welcome. But I don't know why you're saying that, Ringer. You fucking beat us all.
I'm talking about Supercoach, bro. Not fucking tipping.
Oh yeah, what a blunder from you, an oopsie on the Supercoach front. But with the tipping first, Ringer takes it out. He got 5 out of 8. It was pretty interesting actually this weekend. You got 5, I got 4, Gronk got 3, and Langer's got 2. Well done. Couldn't have planned that better if we tried. But overall in the league comp there, we've got what was it? Payne in the Haas and Kate 1812 tied with Ringer for this weekend. Kate got yous all though with a margin of 2.
That's a silly margin.
Excellent.
Girl can tip. And then Payne in the Haas, he had 4, a margin of 4. And then Ringer, mate, you dropped the ball there. 24 was your margin.
Yeah, because I tipped the Panthers. What an idiot.
I tell you what, it's going to be interesting with the Prince of Penrith back this week and the Cowboys down there. We'll soon see.
Lose 4 in a row? Holy shit.
I don't know. I tell you, we'll get to tipping coming up, but fuck, it makes it more nervous now with the results this weekend. But anyway, that's the tipping. So the overall ladder, Kate 1812 is in the lead by 2 points. Payne and a Haas coming in second clear. He's on 22. And then we've got a three-way tie here. Annie Frog's Ringer and Fletcher's Uber.
That's you.
That's me. Don't hurt me, Fletch. Yeah, so that's it. Let's go on to this week's tips. The Gronk has set in. He is going Sharks, Penrith, Rabbits, Dragons, Titans, Broncos, Manly, and the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Langers, I'll throw to you, mate, to give us yours.
I've gone Sharks, Panthers, Bunnies, Dragons, Titans, Broncos, Storm, and Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's my match. I think the Battle of Brookie with those two teams will be exceptional. What about you?
The old bellyache dressing down and the training for this week after such a dismal performance. I don't think too many people would be welcome back in Melbourne if they lose 2 weeks in a row. So, we'll see. We'll see. But my tipping's shit, so don't find me.
I think training this week will be 80 hours on a building site. And that's just to get used to it next week when you get sacked because you've lost again. What about you, Ringer?
Yeah, mate. I've early days. We do this before Teamless Tuesday, I know, but I'm actually going the Raiders against the Sharks. I think the Sharks are absolutely dog shit against teams that want to put it to them. Like, that was a fucking abysmal performance against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs were good, but I mean. Anyway, and then Panthers. I've actually gone the Roosters. I think the Rabbits have to run into a game where all the shit that they're throwing doesn't come off.
Yep.
So, until Trell comes back. So, I'm just going to put that out there for a nice little upset. Dragons have been flying. I'm going the Titans over the Dolphins, Broncos over the Tigers. I'm going the Storm. As Langer said, I think there's going to be a bounce back. If there isn't a bounce back, Bellamy might literally explode in the box and there will be blood and guts everywhere. And then I'm actually going the Knights, mate, over the Dogs. I think a week off will do them really good. They've got, like, even though the Sharks do have those weapons, they could not use them now tonight for some fucking reason. Like, Nico and Trindle just went missing. I just don't think the Knights miss those opportunities with a fresh team. Like Brady Best, Gagai, bloody Marju, Ponga, Fletcher Sharp. I just don't think that the Bulldogs without Kickale and Burton, if the Knights score a couple of tries, I don't think they can get it back. So, anyway, I'm going the Knights. Anyway,
yeah, fair enough.
This is my best week, and I've got 5, so fucking go me.
I have gone the Sharks. This one's got me in a bit of a pretzel. Did the Raiders peak early against us? Sharks still got that flat track bully tag, so if the Raiders really are shit, Sharks should do them. Raiders are back at home, though. Fuck me. Like, it's one of those games to kick the week off that'll see you start the weekend with a big red cross or... And I've gone Penrith just because Cleary, they're back at home. Fuck, I don't know. I did see I think the Cows, every member on their team missed a tackle or multiple tackles in the game against the Raiders. So let's not forget the Raiders also butchered a fucking try there for sure.
I think, sorry.
Yeah. And then I've got blood in the water with the Roosters. I think Wayne will have their measure, the way that I've gone. So I've gone the Rabbits to get it out. Dragons, because the Eels are shit. Titans, I fucking feel sorry for the Dolphins, especially not having any points in the bag. Broncos say less, done. Now, Manly and the Storm, this is a hard one.
No Tommy, but they fucking, I don't know, they dismantled bloody... Yes.
Yeah, so And Garrick went big for me 2 weeks ago, but he couldn't back it up. But we'll move on from that. I want to know if Bellamy has booked the return flights, or if it's a win and you get your flight home, or else you just got to walk it off. But Battle of Brookie, main reason why I went Manly is because it's at Brookvale. It just absolute scenes from those two clashes at that one
It'll be
ground.
a fucking great game if we can
that'll
get
be
a
a good
clear.
game.
If we can get a clear day with that rain, how
It'll
cool will that look?
That'll be sick. And now I've gone the Bulldogs because I think the Knights are lacking in the middle. That's how I've separated. I know that they've got attack weapons, but they're no good if they're getting dominated through that middle. And I think that's where the Bulldogs fucking put it to the Shark. I mean, they got under AFB's skin. He had a bit of a crash out in the second half there, rubbing a bit of faces and whatnot. So I think the Bulldogs, they're flying. Is it at home for the Bulldogs as well?
Yeah.
So the crowd will be bloody up and about.
Oh, there'll be fucking flares and fucking kebabs everywhere, mate.
Yeah. How good was the Warriors Tigers crowd? You could hear the whole stadium chanting. Like, that's beautiful, mate. Like, plug that shit into my vein.
Suburban grounds. If they can't fill a Suncorp week in, week out.
Yeah.
Take it to those little stadiums where you can hear that shit. It makes it so much better.
Yeah, 100%. All right. That's the tipping done and dusted. I will get on to Supercoach here. Just a quick shout out to the Thoroughbreds that are in the league. Well done. You guys are absolutely killing it. The elusive G-Sprot is just out in front and just soaring. Well done, mate. You, by the looks of this, if this is right, you are close to the top 1,000 in the entire comp. And when we have a comp of 155,000 plus, that's very impressive. Elisa's Echidnas, not far behind, that is for sure. Followed by BJ's Battlers, and then Fletcher Zuber, myself. In the if you're seeing them early, you won't be seeing them late. That's all I can say. No, but great effort so far. We might dive into a bit of stats next week. So everyone, make sure your trades are all set. Jack, make sure your team is set. For those not following along, Mr. Ringer here left out a very valuable player on his bench, and he didn't get any points from him. Still scored above 1,000, so maybe he didn't need it. But
that not only Tommy, mate. Only the OGs know that.
Oh, yeah. It was very interesting to see that Tommy was the most captain this round.
Yeah.
My heart bleeds for you, but it doesn't.
No. Yeah, considering I captain.
What'd you say, Langers?
Yeah, I Captain Cleary last week, so I don't give a fuck. That's what you get.
Langers is making his Supercoach debut this year, Thoroughbreds, and he is already wearing the scars of multiple seasons.
2 years.
He's seen many winters. It's only round 4.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah.
All right, on to the best bets. Not a great weekend for everyone except for myself, which is a complete role reversal of everything else that's been going on. Instead of 3 green ticks and a red cross, we've got 3 red crosses and a green tick. But we move on to fight another battle this coming weekend. Just a reminder to make sure Thursday you are listening into the socials. Have a look at our Bronco bet. Have a look at our best bets. Follow the best bet. So even if you come across it Sunday and I can't get into it, no, you can. We'll probably have a bet that's up Sunday on one of those games. Follow along. Send us a slip. If the Bronco bet is getting up, we'll do some giveaways on the podcast. We'll draw it. I'd really love to do a draw. That'll be very, very exciting. And then the road to 1 million. So we actually went really well considering this weekend.
Considering what we normally do.
Considering what we normally do, we had 47% of the legs hit. which was 8 out of 17. So
Which is not that great, but really good for us.
We're nearly halfway there.
yeah,
We're
steady
at like 500,000 to be fair, so we're doing pretty well.
baby steps, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll get there.
We just gotta think it into existence, and it'll come.
Exactly right.
So
Manifest that shit.
that's exactly right. So this week, the split will be the first 2 games. Langers, that's you, mate. I'll take up the next set of 2, which is the Rabbitohs, Roosters, Eels, Dragons. Ringer, you are taking on Titans, Dolphins, Broncos, Tigers. Surely you can find some value around there. And then the Gronk is going to do the Manly Storm game and the Bulldogs and Knights. So we'll see what he can cook up from that one.
Okay.
And just for those, if you are new, the road to $1 million is just an absolute piss take where we try to put multiple multis together on the entire 8 games over the weekend or whatever's playing, to the point where we can only throw a couple of cents on it because the betting agency that we're in will do a maximum payout of $1 million. So that's why we said, 8 out of 17 legs on a $980,000 bet.
All we need to do is get 1 leg more for the next 10 weeks, and then we're there. So,
mate, simple maths.
The optimism is
astounding.
I'm loving it.
Exactly. Can you imagine the frustration and the panic in the agency that we're betting with if those 8 hit the first before a red cross? Mate, we'd be getting phone calls.
Yeah.
Cash out now or I'll shoot you in the face.
Yeah. You want to cash out for $5?
Yeah. I'll give you a $5 bonus bet.
Righto. We'll move on to a bit of wrap up before we wrap up. Got a couple of things here. Just firstly, real quick, shout out Ashley Warner. She's not renewing her contract with the NRLW Broncos team. She is instead setting her sights on the 2026 Italy Winter Olympics. She's a member of the bobsleds team. For those that don't know, Ashley has attempted to try to go to the last 2 Winter Olympics. However, she's had an injury on the first one, I believe it was, that kept her out of the team. And then she got COVID just before she was supposed to fly to Japan. Very unlucky. Yeah. Very unlucky, but we wish her the best of luck. We'll be cheering on. We will tune in for that, and we'll update you on the result.
Absolutely.
Another quick thing before we do get into a bit of a shout out, let's just touch on how cursed Manly are at the moment. To put it in perspective, they tried to fuck over their captain and club legend, Daly Cherry Evans, during the week. The best, how do I put it into words? It was the best live player in the media going toe to toe that I have ever witnessed. And I don't care what you think about Daly, if you think he's a flog or his contracts always have drama. That was front foot footy there that we were witnessing. But for the curse, Turbo's injured, and it doesn't look good because it looks like it was the opposite knee that was strapped, from what I'm seeing. So he didn't finish the captain's run with the bad leg that he already had. Then he went and did something, and he definitely said, I heard a pop in the other knee. So it's not looking good at all. Fanu, which they got rid of, is killing it at the Tigers. Absolutely killing it. And then Humphreys, who apparently they didn't need either, is beating the Penrith Panthers with the Rabbits. So yeah, sorry, Manly, but you made your bed and you've shat in it, so now you got to lie down in it. Ringer, what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, mate. The bed shit with DCE just sounds so weirdly spiteful and personal for some reason. Like it doesn't sound like a club has made that decision. It almost sounds like an individual that doesn't like him's made it, because as a club, surely to fuck you, at least offer him 2 years, even if you only get 1 year out of him.
Yeah.
Like, you look at him today, even though Manly weren't great, I challenge anyone to say that Daly Cherry Evans isn't still one of the premier halves in the game with his kicking, with his ball play. So, yeah, I found that fucking incredible that they found themselves in that situation. And like you said, with the media of DCE, if he isn't on NRL 360 the minute he's not playing rugby league, I'll be fucking disappointed, because that man can work as some fucking journos.
Yeah.
So, I think that's something we've all got to look forward to going forward. But yeah, mate, Tommy, it is such a shame about Tommy that he is built like a fucking balsa wood fucking stick man. Like,
Yeah.
he is so brilliant, and he can do things that others can't, but he's just not made of the right gear, the poor bastard. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so frustrating. It'd be more frustrating for him, because
Oh,
can you imagine? Like, and you've got his brother, Jake, that fucking gets hit in the head 78 times a fucking game and seems to walk out of it no problem. Tommy steps the wrong way on a piece of fucking grass and his knee explodes. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so unfortunate. So, thoughts are with Tommy, even though it is with Manly. You can't deny that, the poor bastard needs a break. And yeah, we wish him all the best.
what about you, Langers, mate?
Yeah, you got a feel for Turbo. Like, he's just such a phenomenal player, and like, injuries have they've just been rife throughout his whole career. It's like what the ringer said: the bloke's just made out of straw. Like, but the skill level that he has, like, if he had a body that wasn't constantly getting injured, like, he would be up there with the greatest of all time. Like, he's just a phenomenal player. He builds up the team around him. Yeah, he would just be so frustrated that he's looking at more rehab once again.
Yeah.
So you feel for the big fella. Hopefully it is just something small and it's not, a season ending or potentially career ending sort of situation for him. I think, even if you don't follow Manly, you like to see the big fella in action because he's electrifying on the field. So hopefully he does bounce back and we do see him again. The DCE thing, it's a fiasco, isn't it? Like, just
Fiasco. That's a perfect word for it.
just absolute scenes. And, like, there's a spot on our coaching roster, and it's like, fuck off, mate. Like, obviously there's more to it behind the scenes that, obviously the media and, we as just normal citizens aren't really going to be privy to. But, like, and there was some chat that, you can kind of agree with that, Manly are paying him a lot of money, and with that sort of money, there is an expectation of a premiership, and he hasn't delivered that. So, you can sort of see it. But in saying that, it's DCE. He's been one of the best players for Manly for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And he isn't slowing down. He isn't just riddled with errors now, and he isn't just playing off who he used to be, sort of thing. He's still DCE, he's still Maroon's contention, he's still Kangaroos contention. So, like, it's, yeah, hopefully he goes somewhere else that's, like, there's chat, then maybe the Roosters, maybe the Dolphins. He is a Queenslander, so it would be good to see him in the Dolphins. I like that shit.
I'd love to see
I'd love to see him at the Dolphins.
I think he would do really, really well at the Dolphins, to be honest. So hopefully he goes there. Hopefully he doesn't go back to go to the Roosters, just another fucking sombrero fucking signing for the fucking
Let's buy
Roosters.
another premiership.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, exactly right. Like, hopefully he does go somewhere else that can really sort of use him, like the Dolphins. But no, it is a fiasco, and I'm glad it's another team and not the Broncos that are in the media for these sort of reasons.
Yeah. Mate, I reckon with that chat about DCE delivering premierships, if the man's still delivering shields for his state and then still playing in the green and gold, it's your job to give him a team to get you that premiership. Like,
100%.
mate.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
they really showed their hands when they dramatically rang Buzz Rossfield, of all people, to say, no, we do have a contract, mate. You just showed your hand and just let the cat out of the bag.
Yep.
DCE probably couldn't have even planned that any better than the way that it was. So
a live rejection, so fucking harsh.
Yeah.
what was
and it's so
It would have felt so
diplomatic
good,
about it too, wasn't it? It was like, so would you entertain that deal? And he's like,
No,
no.
respectfully, no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Good thing we let go of Jamie Humphries.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next week you go out and your main turbo goes down. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Absolute scenes at Manly at the moment.
I just got to say, though, it was really good form of the Manly supporters who absolutely jumped up and cheered for DC when he ran out today.
Yeah.
Like the fans understand what the fuck up is. It's not the player. It's the behind the closed doors shit that's fucked this up. So that was really that shows some footy sense, and I thought that was really great for our state captain.
Yeah, that's good. And it shows the club administration as well where they stand. You know, oh shit, we didn't fuck. We did fuck this sort of thing.
I hope there's not a vote soon from the members because Jesus, fuck, there's going to be a clean out.
And then on the other hand, you got Dylan Brown running out and getting booed by his home fans. So, I mean, that doesn't do anything for the admin as well. They just sit there and go, "Oh, we'll see, it wasn't us." It's like, no, it actually it is. But yeah, anyway, we digress.
The Knights would have to be like fucking chewing their nails watching Dylan play at the moment, wouldn't they?
Oh, they'd be hoping for a early release or drop him back to fucking New South Wales Cup or something, but he'll go back there and get injured anyway. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Ringer, mate, you got a shout out, I believe.
Yeah, Britto, from the penalty Broncos. Now, all the thoroughbreds running around. I don't think I'm going to be sexist when I say we may have a predominantly male audience in this little sphere that we're trying to make. And as up-and-coming content creators and podcasters, I think it's really good to see that we're trying to cross-promote people that are doing the same thing in our space. So She Said What, the podcast, a little podcast started up in Townsville by a cousin of mine, Ali and Amy. They're living in Townsville, mate. So if you're a bloke or if you love some fucking down and dirty women speak, get around the She Said What podcast. You will laugh your ass off. Like, I've listened to a few with my misso. They're funny as fuck. Like, I'll give them that. And you don't have to be, it's just good to make sure that if you're a bloke and you're trying to get your message onto a good podcast to listen to fill their day in while you're binging on penalty Broncos, get them onto the She Said What podcast, and make sure that you go and follow them on their Insta and Spotify, Apple, all that sort of stuff. They give us a lovely shout out when they went to the Cowboys game the other day. So yeah, get around the She Said What podcast. Ali and Amy, they're doing good things up in the north there. So yeah, thoroughbreds, if you can help them out, they helped us out. And I think that's what small creators need to do, is really shout each other out and try and lift each other. A rising tide lifts all ships, mate.
That's it. And if you're a female thoroughbred, make sure you watch us first, then go and fill the rest of your weekend.
Yeah. Fill your boot.
That's it. All right.
There's actually just quickly on their latest podcast, there is some salacious shit about an NRL player that we've even dabbled in, and the evidence is all lining up. So if you go listen to that and go listen to a few old episodes of Penalty Broncos, you're going to put two and two together pretty quick. And there's a fair bit of goss there.
That's it. Good stuff. All right. Well, anything for anything else? I think we're done.
No, mate, we're done.
That's all from us, thoroughbreds. Send us your thoughts on the game, what you like, what you didn't like, all that sort of stuff. Were our opinions right? Do you agree, disagree? If you're listening to us, you have found us, so please spread the love. Let your mates know, and make sure you get on there to whatever you're listening to us. Subscribe so you get the updates when the new ones drop. Follow us along on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the socials there. We're trying to be funny. also trying to bring a bit of serious nature there as well. So get amongst it. Let us know your thoughts. Definitely comment on those. We love the interactions. We've been getting some really, really good interactive, really good opinions, and we don't give a shit if you're completely left field or completely different to us. It's great. We had one bloke point out the fact that Reece has got better stats than Nathan Cleary this year. So that's something that slipped our sort of thoughts. So while everyone was trashing him, this bloke is absolutely 100% backing our boy to reach the heights that he needs to reach to.
Yeah.
Bet responsibly, be a contributor to society, stay out of one another unless it's consensual, and we will gallop off into the week. Catch us later.
Cheers, Thoroughbreds.